No longer Sinners Anonymous, Day23, Storytime. I have to tell you that the Lord gave me this series to start based off of some findings that I had done, a couple videos called Halfway Houses of God. And the explanation in regards to my absence, I was off on an assignment, and this story that I will read to you will give you the gist of this assignment. I titled it, The Nagging House Inspector. A man has just been invited over to a new friend's house for dinner. It's a beautiful house, pristine, purposeful looking, unassuming, a house desired to be occupied. The friend opens the door, greets him, and invites him in. He's among a few other house guests in attendance that night, complete with music, a good meal, and musing fellowship. A night that beckons for more nights with one another, a hopeful beginning of many encounters. One particular night at this house, while grabbing a bottle of wine and some bread from the cellar for the house owner and guests upstairs, the man noted a dark spot of what looks to be moisture in the corner, which is concrete. The man, who's a house inspector for the city by day, doesn't want to ruin dinner night, but from experience, this could be a sign of something. He relays this info to the homeowner later on in the evening after the other guests have left. Hey bud, when I was downstairs grabbing the bread and wine earlier, I noticed that you've got some moisture over there that you may want to look into. Could be a sign of corrosion. Just a suggestion. Maybe nothing major, but it could lead to something. The house owner friend thanks him and they part ways for the evening. Few dinner nights later, the house inspector friend sees more signs of erosion, yet again in the same area, grabbing more bread and wine for the guest and house owner upstairs. This time, it looks to be a puddle and some discoloration on the wall. The nagging house inspector friend, always inspecting, doesn't want to be bothersome, but it's his friend. He cares for him. It's a beautiful house, and he can't help but see some things that aren't right. It's what he does. He warns his friend again, and the friend says, "It's okay, I've got it under control." The owner does some cleanup, some halfway patches in the area that weekend. No sweat. The invited house guest inspector friend, he's growing more concerned. It's his specialty. He can't help but to care. He calls him and says, "Those patches won't work. There's an issue beneath the surface," warning the friend again. He even reads him a few points from his house inspector guideline, which the friend rebuffs. Worry about your own house. You think just because you're a house inspector that your house is perfect and doesn't have any problems? Everybody's house has problems, even yours. The house owner friend gets aggravated and hangs up on him. No more calls, no more dinner nights, no more bread and wine. Sometime later, unbeknownst to the homeowner, the corner in his house under the surface has been undergoing the process of erosion. A bad concrete mixture is to blame, which had been laid at the time the house was being built. Over time, the cracks in the foundation began to show, which resulted in the structure of that house being compromised, developing into a very pronounced lean. The house gets deemed unlivable, uninhabitable, and condemned. The house inspector friend guy hears of this and calls the house owner. "Sorry to hear about your house." The homeowner says, "It's all good. Won't be the first house or the last house it happens to." The house inspector pauses and says, "But your house was supposed to be a house of God." End of story. Matthew chapter 12, verses 43 through 45. When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return into my house, from whence I came out. And when he is come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. Then goeth he, and taketh with himself 7 other spirits, more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. Even so shall it be also unto this wicked generation. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 17 says, For the time is come that judgment must begin at the house of God. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end of them be that obey not the gospel of God? Titus 1:13 says, This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. In that story that I read, I am the house inspector. The house inspector guideline that I was trying to read the homeowner is the Bible. The warnings that I gave was the leaven that I was beginning to detect. This house was a house that I was invited into. I had been assigned to give the results of the house inspection of that house. Hence why I haven't been able to upload a video since last week. I read those verses to you because it's one of the saddest things that I find in that set of verses in Matthew chapter 12. The bad spirit had gone out, but but it still claimed the house as his, even in its absence. That house are vessels, man, people, and it was able to go back in and dwell there. The word says, examine yourselves to see if you're in the faith. Judge yourselves, or you will be judged. Judgment starts at the house of God. So I am off to give my house inspection of one particular house that I was invited into. I thank you for your patience. Please read and review Matthew chapter 7, 12, and 13, going into No Longer Sinners Anonymous, day 24, which we will get to tomorrow, Lord willing. Until then, be blessed in Jesus' name.